They cannot call themselves professional. They are not qualified more than patient himself or patient's family member. They were less prepared.
I don't want to make this all about the incident, right?
No.
Because I think there's also another part of this that's even more important, right? In terms of lessons learned, right? How can we do better as a community? But before we definitely talk about that, I want you to kind of just tell us about Young. You know, what are the good memories that you have of your son?
He's a adorable kid.
Yeah,
Cute
yeah.
and smart and very loving, funny and that kind of, you know.
So how long has he lived by himself?
Almost 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always in Los Angeles too?
You know, mostly Los Angeles County, mostly, yeah. He struggled a lot with his condition, but to me, he's my son. I love him.
Yeah,
very
Of
dearly,
course.
yeah. And then we also struggled together with my son, obviously. But he was doing much better nowadays, lately. And this condition is that I heard that as you get older, it gets a little better and better. And you know how to deal with your conditions. And you get wiser. You can, more. So actually, nowadays, I kind of felt I think he will survive. The last 20 years was very, very difficult for him, but I think he's gonna make it. He's gonna, because lately when I ask about the voices that he's hearing, mostly it's about religious voices,
I see.
struggling between evil and good and that kind of stuff. And then when I ask questions, and do you still hear voices? And he said, yeah, it's always there. It's been always there, but I can manage. And sometimes I have to meditate and pray long time. But sometimes I win. So I can manage. I know how to deal with it. So you don't have to worry anymore. I will do better, and I'll look after you. Don't worry about it. He's been saying that. Actually, even the night before, he was telling me that. So I was trying to help him so that he can get back as quickly as possible. That's why I made a call. Not because he's violent or anything. He was doing much better.
I see.
You know what? When my son is have that kind of illness, it's not to boast about. It's not like my son has this kind of problem. You keep quiet, but doesn't mean that I'm not proud of my son, or I'm. The reason why it had happened is these so-called professionals are dealing with such people with different eyes, I guess. That's what. I mean, if any of those police officer or the mental health personnel has a family member who is sick, could they have done that kind of way? No, I don't think so. If they don't have any family member, then they don't have any friend or friend's family member who has a mental ill. You know what? I believe they must have. But they didn't care too much. Or they're not well trained. They cannot call themselves as professionals, especially on this type of situation. They're not qualified at all. They are not qualified more than I.
Right.
More than patient himself or patient's family members. They were less prepared. And how come they come and try to do something? When we ask for help, we want somebody better than us, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think probably things would have been a little bit different if there was more empathy. right? From
Right,
their part,
right.
in terms of understanding your situation. Now, I mean, that actually brings up another topic in terms of, you mentioned when your son, first showing signs of this, what age did you start to realize that he might have some mental health issues?
He was a quiet person. How do I say? Keep things in his mind, but try to get accepted by the group and that kind of stuff. But when he had a hard time in school, he was usually alone, sad,
Yeah.
and then this kind of mental condition kicks in maybe early 20s. I mean, what I learned is we can be more sensitive, and then even parents and as a school teachers, counselors, doctors or pastors, we can be more sensitive, and then try to be more empathetic. Mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of.
Absolutely.
Mental illness has to do with some chemical imbalance in brain, which is also physical. So mental illness is actually a physical illness, and the difficult part is the patient himself. They know that they're not well, and they're usually afraid of others. The so-called healthy people will attack. The mentally ill people are afraid of mentally so-called well people. So they are kind of keep themselves inside. They don't want to go out. And they need a great courage to go out. So if they try to do something for their health, they need to be actually praised and encouraged. But a lot of people try to just avoid. Another thing that I found is that type of illness, these people are smart. They're not stupid and dumb and just crazy to hurt other people.
Right.
Right?
Intelligence and mental illness is not always go hand in hand.
But a lot of times, I deal with children, seemingly difficult student or problematic student. They're smart. They're sensitive, so they get hurt easily because they observe. I mean, they feel more. So those people are not just go out and hurt other people. They are just suffering, and then if we have some open mind toward the hurt people, then must be much better for them.
For sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I think it's a perspective, right? Right now, a lot of the perspective is what's wrong with them. But really, it's not that anything's wrong with them. It's that they have additional burdens in their life.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's more of like, how as a community should we help the individual? How should we help their family? Right? Because that family has an additional stressor, right? They have an additional burden, right? And if the community would stop kind of saying, well, you know what? We should stay away from that family. Instead, think about how we can help that family. I think, some of this stuff may never occur, right? We'll never get to a point where there's nobody else to help except
Right.
the government, right? Because when you call the police, you don't know what's going to happen at the end, right? You don't know.
What I don't understand is, that idea that if we call the police, we don't know what's going to happen. Shouldn't that be changed?
No, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. It's
It's
baffling to us.
Some people in Europe, like in the Great Britain or Germany, when they saw what happened to my son, they reply, "It's not going to happen to those countries. They're not going to allow them. The police can do such horrible things. Only in this country, things like this happen so much."
Yeah, I agree. So I just want to address something. I think first thing that I identify as a problem in this is communications. English is my second language. And a lot of times when I was growing up, I was trying to express myself to a teacher or to a person that basically didn't speak Korean. I had tough time because I only had limited choices of words that I could express myself in. And when we communicate certain things to non-Korean speaking person, but they're trying to make sense of what you're saying in English, it's oftentimes misinterpreted. But it's sad that DMH person who came out to to help you, and he spoke Korean clearly. I could tell from his accent that he didn't try to clearly understand what the situation was or what you wanted.
But even after the incident, I met many Koreans in police. They didn't care too much.
That's unfortunate to hear.
police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you consider that as just a communication problem, I don't think that's just a
Of course, it's not just that.
It's
Of
a
course.
lack of professionalism. I mean, communication, that's their job to communicate.
Right.
It's not like someone's English is not perfect. They have to dig in and figure out what's going
Absolutely.
on. Labeling it as a communication problem, make it too small.
I agree.
It's an overall qualification problem, I guess.
Is there something that you would like to end with?
I want my son back. Something needs to be done. I want that, so that another young, doesn't happen. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate you and talking about this situation. I know it's really difficult. Now we're going to actually talk to Young's brother, his twin
Yun,
brother.
right? Yun is his
Yin.
name. Yin.
Thank you so much, Yin, for coming on.
Hi, Yin.
Appreciate it. So, first off, I know you're a twin, right, to Young. Are you the older or younger twin?
Technically 2 minutes older.
2 minutes
Okay.
I
older?
never
Okay.
considered
You're
myself. Yeah.
So
Did
you're
he ever
always
call
gonna
you
be
Young?
older.
Yeah, there's that cultural thing. But yeah, the young would not have any of that. It was just,
So how was it
Never mind.
having your brother, with you? You guys are in the same year, I assume, right, in
Yeah.
school?
yeah, that was cool. It was cool. We weren't like he was really popular. In high school.
He was popular?
Yeah, he was
Really?
more so than I was. I was just kind of a loner. I had like 2 friends. He was like the social butterfly.
Really?
Like a big group of friends and.
You guys get along though? You and your brother?
Yeah, we got mostly.
Okay.
We did fight a lot. I would say more so than maybe most twins or brothers. Maybe we might have got into it more, but we were very close to it at the same time. We're like, that's why we were just always bumping heads. Yeah.
So what happened after high school? You guys go off on different paths?
Kind of, yeah. He kind of just we kind of just went our separate ways, but we still saw each other pretty often. Hung out with each other like every couple months at least.
Well, in terms of mental illness, when did you ever start thinking like maybe he has something going on?
Well, I remember the first time I saw him actually having hallucinations, and that was I think it was the early 20s, like maybe 23 or something like that.
Remember the
That's
actual incident? Like what you noticed?
Yeah, his girlfriend called me over. She said that there's something wrong with him. And I went over there to check on him, and then he was like he was just scared. He was just having a panic attack, and then he was just freaked out. And then I just kind of hugged him out, and I was scared too because I never seen him like that before. And then I just kind of hugged him, and then he just calmed down. And then after a while, he was fine. Yeah, usually when I come by and talk to him for a little while, he usually gets better after just a few minutes. Yeah.
Did you ever think that it was something serious?
I did. I did because as it happened more frequently, he'll have these episodes once in a while, and then we had him see doctors, and then he got diagnosed with like bipolar disorder and like acute anxiety disorder, and then he had like some nervous system problems and stuff. So he had some health issues, and then they were serious.
Did he ever talk about that with you, like his problems?
Yeah, a lot. He talked to
Okay.
me about it a lot.
Like he was open to you?
Yeah. So he told me a lot about what he's hearing and like what he's experiencing when he's having these episodes. He would literally think somebody's coming after him,
I see.
and like he's afraid for his life. Somebody's coming to kill him or something like that.
What did you
Just
tell him
paranoia.
when he says that?
Usually, the best thing to do is kind of just just say, okay, it's okay, it's gonna be fine, rather than tell him like, no, you're tripping out, just shut up, like. But at first that's what I used to do, so because I didn't know how to handle it. So, but then as I got more used to it and then seeing it happen more often, I kind of picked up like a few things that help, and then just talking to him in a way that you're more understanding is a lot better. Like it helps somebody calm down a lot faster than attacking them for like just
Right.
being weird or something, or tripping out or something like that.
Do you think the community, that's like your friends, your acquaintances, could be church, do you think there was any kind of different treatment, did you have any feeling
Not
that
just
other
him, but
people-
towards you or towards your
to
family?
your family or anything after like your brother's the mental health issues started coming out?
Well, yeah, there was definitely a lot. Like he became more withdrawn, but at the same time, the people were like, Koreans are very kind of judgy.
Yeah.
Like even his close friends kind of just like a lot of them just turned their back on him, and it was it was something that he had to kind of like, I don't know. I know he was embarrassed about. So like he didn't like. After a while, he was, like I said, when he was younger, he was the more outgoing one, and almost all of my friends I got through my brother. But he stopped like talking to everybody. He became
Did your
more of
brother
a
ever
hermit.
tell you how that made him feel?
Well, I knew how it made him feel. But he didn't like to talk about like that much, but I know he didn't feel good about it. And,
He was hurt.
He felt kind of betrayed by a lot of people that just kind of turned their back on him and stopped talking to him just because he's having some mental health problems.
How has your family been dealing with this?
We try to like stay busy. I think that's the main thing that makes it like bearable temporarily.
Well, I mean, hopefully, your friends reaching out to you and people from the past, and
Yeah.
probably people that were his friends and try to
Yeah.
stay away. I'm sure they're reaching out to you now, right? Because
Some of them, yeah. Some of them, some people, not so much. So there's some people that I'm kind of shocked that haven't gotten a hold of me. And like we were saying before, that people are always happy to be there for you when things are going good.
yeah, of
Or
course.
when things aren't going well, or if something bad happens, you'll find that there's not many people around.
Well, they show
it's
the
a-
true colors, right? I mean,
Right,
in the
yeah.
end, you have very few friends.
Yeah.
You guys going around talking about this for sure. I mean, and maybe you guys don't realize it at this point in time because it's so close to the incident itself, but it's actually helping tons of people.
Thank you. We don't see it that way. We're just doing it because there's nothing else we can do. I mean, they started out just saying all these lies about him, like saying he's violent and just just portraying him in just a negative light. So we couldn't take that. We were already dealing with him dying, and we're not gonna just sit around and let them talk shit about him.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do what we can to clear his name and let people know who he really was and what really happened. We're not trying to be brave. We just have to do it. Like, we have to get it off our chest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
For sure. We still appreciate you. And even though, you know what, sometimes your old friends fail you, right? You'll make new friends, right? Hopefully, you'll consider us as people now in your corner.
Whatever we can
Thank
do.
you.
We appreciate you coming on to the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us as well, for listening to this story. Hopefully it helps you. Hopefully if this situation arises, you know a little bit better about what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And tune in next time when we have another guest talking about something that will better our community. Thank you.